Hello, hello, hello. We are making a video, and today is the baby dog, of course. Yes. And today we are making a black astronaut horse. Black. Look at that. I have never seen black Play-Doh before, ever. This is not Play-Doh, but it smells exactly like Play-Doh, like the original Play-Doh, and has the same consistency and material. It's called Curiosity Modeling Dough. Pâté à modeler. I probably pronounced that wrong. Whatever. 4 ounces, and it only costs about 30 cents. This thing here. Can you believe it? No, that's a mega deal, is that. They were actually for $1.25. The Dollar Tree store is no longer one item for $1. It's now $1.25 because of Joe Biden. Yes, that's why we pay 25 cents more at the Dollar Tree store. That is caused by inflation, and it's caused by the mafia. I have to do OCD rituals. It's caused by the mafia printing up money for the Federal Reserve. And by mafia, I mean the Rothschild bankers. I mean the global organized crime mega stringholder collaboration. That's what I mean by global mafia. It's the global corporate mafia. That's how I call it. I don't know. I'm not going to call it deep state. That sounds too deep for them. They're not deep. Yeah, they're very surface oriented. Even their jokes are like very kind of crude and not in any way deep. So it's always like, hey, I'm laughing myself to the bank. Yes. That kind of jokes, right? They're not deep. If they want to be deep, they have to do better. I'm going to talk about this in this video, what it means, okay, to become a deep thinker, okay, and to appreciate nature and appreciate classical music and all of that. They may listen to classical music because it is something that the finer or the self-proclaimed finer people do, right? But that doesn't mean that they are deep. That doesn't mean they're actually appreciating classical music. That just means that they want to belong to what they call elite. And I don't call those people elite. They're not elite. To me, elite, where does that word come from? It comes from some kind of god in the past. There was a god with that name Elite. So there was an elite god. I think the Abrahamic religions, they started out with 2 different gods. Then they had to make up their minds which one they take. The Jehovah's Witnesses took Jehovah, and the other ones took Elite. And I think out of that came the self-proclaimed elitists, Illuminatis, and they're not illuminated. Okay, illuminated that's people who are enlightened, like Jiddu Krishnamurti and Gautama Buddha, and they would never label themselves elite or do something because it fits into that particular genre of society or something, to belong to this to belong to the elite or something. No, Judy Krishnamurti truly enjoyed classical music. And only classical music, because for him those were real masterpieces. Those were that was real crafts, and that was real creation, as he called it. Okay, and these people were 100% attuned. People like Bach and Mozart and Beethoven and Chopin, those were attuned with the infinite. So, with no further adoing, let me introduce to you the black pate. Ta-ta. Okay, this makes a very good jar for mixing paint, acrylic paint with, and the lid comes off easily. But it had a fresh seal on the top, and I'm glad that that I pried that off before I started the video, because it would have taken up half of the video. And that's why they ended up in the Dollar Tree store, I'm assuming, because this fresh seal thing, that was extremely difficult to pry off. I don't think if a grandmother or a child could do that. So Paul actually had to come with a plier and poke a hole into it. Then I was able to peel all of that off. So now this is really cool, to say the least here. Oh, look how cool this is. I've never seen black Play-Doh before, and I am excited. And the other colors are normal colors that we've seen before: yellow and blue and pink or purple, some kind of, or like a reddish type of color. But this package had black in it, and I was like, whoa. And that was the last package left, was this. I was so lucky that I got that. I hadn't seen that last time I went there. So I got 2 packages, one for each house. But I'm probably gonna end up bringing the other ones over here as well, because it is easier for me to make these clay figures here, because the light is better. I can sit down here easily. It doesn't depend on good weather like at the other house. I would sit outside to make this. So this is more practical here. And we have the heater on, so this is good. But I still have to dress up like I'm going to the moon. I always do. I used to wear moon boots in the past. I usually had these Technica moon boots. I had like several of those, at least like probably 10 of those Technica moon boots. Unfortunately, the bottom, they're expensive, and then the bottom isn't even very sturdy. It definitely flakes off the rubber on the bottom at some point. So, but I mean, you still get several years out of them. But they could be made a little bit more sturdy on the bottom. The bottom rubber material. The outer sole rubber material. And I had one pair that in Germany that was cheap, and they looked exactly like the Technica ones, but they were like a fraction of, but they were like a quarter of the price. and they work just as well. But then I never saw them again. I guess they I wonder if they were sued for imitating the moon boots. People should imitate those things. In China, they imitate all kinds of things and actually sell it for the real thing, which makes the real companies really mad, of course. Because it takes the customers away from them. Customers go and buy the fake ones. The fake Louis Vuitton bags. I don't care if I have a fake Louis Vuitton. I would rather have a fake leather. You know, I think some of the Louis Vuitton bags have a synthetic material. What they do is they use a real thick canvas, and then they coat it with something, with some kind of rubber material to make it really, really strong. That's perfect, absolutely the strongest material, much better than leather actually. But they also have leather bags, which I'm against. So I don't buy leather ever anymore. No more. No more down jackets, only with synthetic fillings in it. This one too has synthetic fillings in it. And my shoes are all synthetic materials. That's the only way to live, okay, ethically, live ethically. And I have fake croc leather purses that are absolutely supremely made, really well made, and I've had them for many years, and they still look almost like new, shiny and glossy and amazing, very strong. So let's get started with the horse head now. So that's how I do the horse. And this is also gonna go into my, when this is finished, I'm gonna paint it with acrylic colors, and then it is going into my ET Spaceship 9 Stargate Galactica artwork. And when I say into it, it's like, okay, here is how that spaceship looks like. It's really nice. It came with the washing machine, so it's the packaging material of the washing machine. It's a real large, extra large industrial washing machine, awesome washing machine, the best in the world. And GE, General Electric, the best. They make the best, I think. And I think it's made in South Korea. They have the best, absolutely the best people and engineers. And all the Asian products are absolutely superior to all the other nationalities in the world. I want to make the horse mouth very long. So whenever someone says to me I have a horse face, I take that as a compliment, because horses are beautiful. Okay. Yeah, this is the truth. Yes, we're getting there. Yes, we're getting there. Yes, we're getting there. Okay, and then I'm gonna, when that is finished, I made another horse at the other house out of the rest of a real thick glue material. Liquid nails, actually. It's the rest of one of the liquid nails container. And when the liquid nails container, when you haven't used it in a long time and it had been opened, then the stuff on the inside becomes thicker, and it becomes like this here, like this clay, stickier, but still workable. And I mean, not that sticky that it would stick to my fingers. So I was able to scrape the rest out, and I had about, I don't know, about 2/3 of this, 2/3 or maybe half of this material I had in liquid nails clay, and I made a horse that's already in the greenhouse at the other place, and I've already painted it, but I'm gonna put a couple of more coats on it. It always needs several coats of acrylic paint. This is so much fun. This is so nice. This is nice. Oh. Yeah. Smells a little bit different, but very similar to Play-Doh. Very similar. I always loved this as a child already. I loved the Play-Doh smell. I absolutely loved it. Smells like you can eat it, and I think it is actually made out of some kind of flour. Yes, this is good. Oh yeah. Mwah. Yes, I want to stop at the horses. There is one lonely horse that really is difficult for me to see. This one lonely horse. I'm always want to go there first, always, and give him an apple or two, and pet him and talk to him. And he always vocalizes when I come over. That poor horse is so lonely. He's so grateful for anyone to stop by and talk to him and be nice to him. He has some kind of sore on the. All of those horses there, I see some sores or something, or they don't take exceptionally care of the horses, these people. Makes me sad. So my mother always took exceptionally care of her horse, and the other people that she shared the meadow with, they took care of their horses. In Germany, people take care of their horses much better than in the United States. Always made me sad. Makes me sad to see a lonely horse on a meadow. It's so unnecessary, you know. In Germany, when someone has just one horse, they get a companion animal for the horse. They get a goat. And so some of the horses on the meadows of the neighbor people, we would go for a walk or ride a horse around the area. We would come past meadows of other animals, horses and cows usually. And the horses, when there was one horse, they would always have other companion animals with them, at least one companion animal with them, a goat or sheep. And that's what they need. They have to have that. It's very important. So this horse will join the other horse that's already there on ET Spaceship Stargate, ET Spaceship 9 actually. That's how many I have already made. ET Spaceship 9 Stargate Galactica, and the reason why I call it Stargate Galactica is because I watched this weird movie that was this. The movie is bad, very boring. I had to turn it off, but I like the idea of this Egyptian artifact that, obviously this is not something that the person who made the movie invented. This is actually, there are these kind of places in the world where there's some kind of like a stone artifact that is made into like a portal for an energy portal sort of, and it is circular, and it has an opening in the middle, so like a portal. No, don't touch me, don't touch that to me, don't touch that, please don't do that when I'm making a video. Don't do it. Not real seriously. That puts me in a bad mood. No, don't do it. Yeah, that's when I always have to tell Paul I have OCD with packaging material. This was sealed in plastic, these four things, and I still had to wipe it with a ShamWow afterwards. So that's, it's called OCD. It's mental illness. Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun. But when someone has something like this, one should respect that. Because that's someone's boundaries. When I say these are my boundaries, the other person has to respect it, whether they agree with that or not. They have to respect that. And it doesn't make sense to him, any of that. So that's why he forgets. And then he will. And I just earlier today, I told him, when you want to give me something, like a pack that is in a package that other people touched, don't shove it in my face, like, here, I'm gonna punch you with this, yeah. That's kind of like, he's gnarly, like, old man gnarly like that. It's like, he doesn't know better. He thinks this is normal behavior. Like, here, excited, like, I'm so excited, I'm giving this to you, I'm punching it literally into your face. That doesn't work that way. Things don't work that way. No, when I give something, I give it on a distance, and I say, this is for you, but not like I'm staying farther away with it. Do you want it? Do you want a Cabbage Patch doll? I say that from 10 feet away. And then the other person says, no, I don't want a Cabbage Patch doll. I offered it to my friend the other day. And she doesn't understand OCD at all either. Just like Paul. It doesn't make sense to them. To most people, this makes no sense at all. And some people get mad at me for that. Or they take offense or something. And then I have to say, yeah, that's my mental illness. Don't take this personally, We have fear of the virus, but for me, that's actually an alibi to say I have fear of the virus. I have not just fear of the virus. It's actually the least of my concern. Fear. What I have phobia with is cigarette particles, drug paraphernalia particles, all drug paraphernalia particles. I have a real bad issue with. Real severe issue. Severe. Yes, we're getting there. I'm an elegant racehorse. Yes, an elegant, very elegant and sleek. And sleek and sleek and sleek and chic. So, chic and chic. when Nicola says chicken, she doesn't mean chickens. She means entzückend, which means enchanting in English. Entzückend is a German word. Entzückend, and it sounds a little bit like chicken, but it isn't chicken. I'm not a chicken, huh? Oh, you better not call me chicken. I'm the devil. I'm badass. You better believe it. Yes, it's entzückend, are you? Yes, I know what Nicola means, and that makes me feel good. Yes, that makes me feel good. That makes me have real good endorphins in the brain when Nicola does it, and it makes me feel so good, and it gives me love hormones, and it gives me oxytocin. Yes, that I want to kiss her back. That is what I want to do. Horses are such grateful living beings. Grateful, loving, powerful, amazing beings. So loving. And so gentle. Gentle giants. The baby dog doesn't like the horses because he's jealous of them. So, yes, he gets jealous and he has a jealous look. He literally has a jealous look on his face. I've never seen that before and ever in a dog. He looks mad. He's mad at him. Because he wants to be our number one. But he is, of course he is. Always. Yes. And then I am starting on another art project as well. So I have several going right now at the same time. I finished one the other day at the other house. That is just gorgeous. A gorgeous artwork. And I added it to my collection in the shelf and in the garage. I don't even know where to put my artworks anymore. But I can't stop making artworks, so there's no way I can ever stop making artworks. When we were traveling in the motorhome for like 3 years before we bought the other house at the other place, we bought that in 2007. Yeah, was it about 2007? So yeah, we left in I think November 2004. We left LA. We sold the house. We got this real old Winnebago, moved into this, and lived in that homeless transients, as they are called, homeless vagabonds, and we were traveling around to see the different places, to see where we want to buy some land, and so it took us like 3 years, but it was very difficult, and during that time I wasn't able to do artwork because it's just too difficult to make artwork in a motorhome. I found some clay, like actual mud clay, in Shoshone, California. And they have geothermal, they have alkaline soil and geothermal springs. And so we stayed at this RV park where they have a geothermal swimming pool that was included in the rent of the RV space. And that was lovely, but the problem was I was absolutely insane during that time. I was really out of it. I made it miserable for everyone there. We finally had to leave, but I was gonna go back to my parents, and then Paul said, no, I'm not letting you go back to your parents. Let's just leave here then. So then we left before the time was even up. We left there halfway into the month, and we paid for the whole month. But it was kind of like an emergency. But when we were there, I found this mud, and I made some sculptures out of that. And I can't do it right now. It's too difficult. I have this in my hand here. I can't do this one. Can you? Can you do it? I will not show you. I have the computer aimed this way. Thank you. So, alright, thanks. So I made some sculptures out of that, but then they broke apart because I didn't have an oven for it to harden it, and it wasn't the right modeling clay. It had a lot of sand in it, and it wasn't cohesive enough. It broke apart very quickly. But that's okay. I still got to do some modeling of was a natural clay. But I was really missing making artwork in the motorhome. So I have to have a permanent residence where I have my art studio, where I can make amazing things. And my dream is to make all kinds of things, to create all kinds of things. I'm also making sweaters. This is another sweater here that I made that's really awesome. Comes way over the hips, almost to my knees. It's like a dress, but I always wear thick pants underneath. It's real comfortable, real warm. I love creating stuff. I love sewing by hand and all of this. It's a creative art process. And I'm making a really, really nice sweater that's also like a dress. Making that right now. And it's wonderful to make this. Very, very, feels really good. It feels very joyful to create something like that. And so my dream for the future is I want to make pottery. I've already made a lot of pottery pieces in Germany and in LA. And I gave a lot of them away. I gave most of them away. Actually, I gave all of them away. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Because I didn't know they were very thick and heavy, and moving into the motorhome, we weren't able to keep all of that stuff. So, but the people love it, and they were happy to get it. I gave a lot of them to my parents, and also extended family. And then I made one, actually here in this area, I made one at the other house, that I bought the clay at Walmart, that is actual bentonite clay that was ready made for making something, a sculpture with it, or pottery. A real big chunk I bought, and I made a soup bowl out of it, just like the other ones that I made before. But I didn't get the chance to put it into an oven. Like, it requires a very, very hot oven for it. They're called kilns, Kiln. Those are clay firing ovens, and they heat up to, I don't know, 1,000 degrees or something. And then the bentonite clay, or whatever, or kaolin clay, it hardens like cement. And then you can also, when that's finished, you can put a glaze on it. Once they come out of the oven and they cool off, then you can put a glaze on it. The glaze is water-based. The water will evaporate, and the glaze of, it's like a silica glaze that comes in different colors. And the silica glaze, it's a silica glaze powder that is mixed with water. You brush it on with a paintbrush. You can do several layers of it. And when that goes back into the oven, then the water evaporates and the glaze powder will melt into each other and onto that terracotta, onto that hardened clay sculpture or pottery or whatever. And it looks amazing. So I've made several pieces, like, I don't know, probably 30 pieces. They're gorgeous. So and then I tried to find someone who would put my pottery piece into their oven, and the lady refused because she asked me what clay number that is. And I said I bought it at Walmart. I don't remember the clay number. It probably showed the clay number, but I didn't pay attention to it. So she said that it could explode and would damage her oven or the other sculpture pieces that other people would put in it. So when you make something like this out of a clay, someone in Germany told me what I have to do is in order to not have it explode, you have to poke really deep holes in the bottom like this. Like you take like a knitting needle or something like this and stick like in this case, stick 4 deep holes with the knitting needle into it but only, if it's not this year, but when it's like a bentonite clay or kaolin clay, in order to let the air bubbles free, in order to prevent air bubble trapping inside of the material, which can cause the entire sculpture to break apart in the oven when it's going through the heating process. Because when there are air bubbles inside and the sculpture gets heated to that high degree, then the air inside of these air bubbles will heat up more and faster than the material itself, and that can cause this kind of where the air gets so hot that it expands, and it will expand and bust open the entire sculpture. So that's why you have to poke these holes into it to make sure that the air bubbles have been released, so that this doesn't happen. But with this here, obviously this doesn't go into an oven. This hardens on the air. Oh, that's nice. This is so nice. It's this. This is nice. It's this. Yes. This feels real good too, this material. Real lovely. Real bouncy. Real nice. Oh yeah. So what else did I want to talk about? Enlightenment. Well, enlightenment is not like something someone can brag about, because enlightenment is freedom from bragging. Okay, so that's why actual enlightenment is freedom from bragging. I'm not enlightened and will never be enlightened, and I'm not striving for enlightenment. I'm not interested in this. I'm interested in making artworks. That's what I'm interested. I'm interested in the creation process. So it's very important to me. Creating things. When you create things like this, you heal everything in your body. That's the truth. I'm not just making this up. You heal everything. This is infinitely healing. Rudolf Steiner also talked about this. Read the books by Rudolf Steiner. They are free. They are at Project Gutenberg. That's an antique library. It's an internet library. You can get all the books to read for free. Download all of them. It's no charge. They're based on donations. You can donate to them if you want to. They're very good. You can also donate to Ad Blocker. That's a British non-profit group. They're very, very good. They don't believe in commercials. They believe that people have the right to not be forced to watch something they don't want to watch. And I strongly adhere to this. So I use it. It works very well. And I'm grateful to them. So please donate money to Adblocker and to Project Gutenberg. Those are great organizations. But even more important is donate money to the Paul Watson Foundation. They are going back out to sea to protect the whales and to take physical action. They're not just passively watching like Greenpeace and Sea Shepherd. They really go to action. Infiltrators came into Greenpeace and even into Sea Shepherd, and they kicked Paul Watson out. The person who founded these organizations, they kicked him out because he wanted to do real action, and they didn't want to do action, and they were infiltrators, probably paid by the whaling industry. Got in there, and people let them trick them. Very sad. But Paul Watson then left and created yet another organization, but this time he's not going to have it democratic, because he always believed it should be democratic, and Elon Musk believes this, of course, but it doesn't work. Democracy does not work. Okay, we can clearly see it now. It doesn't work. We have to have a dictatorship. Okay, that sounds so politically incorrect, but we do. We have to have a dictator. This man here, this horse, should be the dictator of the world. Yes, I agree with this. I would force everyone to give their horse a companion animal. Yes, that's what I would do. Okay, and if we have a democracy, it's not going to happen, because then we have the corporate agenda, the mafia always infiltrating and taking votes and tweaking, and yeah, that's what happens. That's what happened. That is so nice. This also makes a very excellent horse for a chessboard. Yes, chess. I have made those before in LA with my friend Elsa together. We made a chessboard, entire chess game. We created the chessboard with different color cardboard. Made it real meticulous, was measured and everything, and cut and all out, and was a lot of work. And then we each took white and black modeling clay, but that's a different type. That's the one that doesn't harden. And we made these figures. She made her figures, and I forgot now how we distributed them. She made some chess figures for one side of the chess game, and I made the figures for the other side of the chess game. And then once we had them finished, we started to play chess with them. It was so much fun. And my horses, they look like that. And my towers, they were just cubic. Oh, actually, I remember now, in this particular chess game, I made the towers like a vacuum cleaner. I can show that. I'm gonna do that with one of the other Play-Dohs. I'm gonna recreate that vacuum cleaner as the chess game tower, because the chess game tower has like a function, almost like a vacuum cleaner. It goes straight this way or straight this way. That looked awesome. And then we brought it to the center in LA, in Venice, California. Brought it to the Primal Center, and we let other people play around with this. And then the other people started to, because the clay never hardens, so then the other people started to make their own sculptures out of our sculptures. And then pretty soon our sculptures were no longer there. So if we want to preserve our artwork, we have to make sure that the material hardens. We use the material that hardens, and if we use the clay that doesn't harden, then we at least have to make a cast out of it, like a gypsum cast, and then we always have the gypsum cast of it. Then it doesn't matter what happens then to the actual original. If that gets deformed, then we always have the cast of it, and then we can cast some other materials into it, like a rubber material or something. And that's also my dream, to one day create an entire chess game with my own art sculptures and make it like this, where I create casts of my sculptures, and then the future sculptures that I make, the fast production is then going through the casts and being made with some kind of liquid rubber material that gets filled into the cast, and then when that hardens, then the cast comes off, and then you have the sculpture just like that, but made out of a rubber material that is solid and it cannot be reformed. So for children, or also for adults that like to play chess with something fun. So that's another idea that I had. So I have a lot of ideas for making things, toys and things, and chess game, and pottery, and dishes, and soup bowls and stuff like that. I even dream of carving utensils like bread knife and spoon and fork out of wood, but not out of trees, but out of branches that had fallen by themselves. So never cut something off. Just these things already come off with the wind, so there's no need to cut a plant. There's no need to ever cut a tree. Never cut a tree. Ever, 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 ever. Never, ever. Leave every tree standing. We need every tree. They give us air, oxygen. All the animals need the oxygen to breathe. Oxygen level has already gone down. People have measured that. It's all because of pollution, and it's because of overfishing the oceans. It's real serious situation is this. And Paul Watson talks about this all the time. But people don't listen to him because out of mind, out of sight, out of sight, out of mind. And they don't take it seriously. They go like, oh no, that's inconvenient, no, I'm not gonna quit this or that or whatever. So I think it's really unethical for anyone to go out there onto the ocean with a trawling boat or something. It's really unethical. Often baby dolphins get caught in the nets. What a horror is that? What a horror. Can you imagine how the mother is suffering? How worried the mother is. Those are mammals. They're not fish. Dolphins are mammals. Whales are mammals. They nurse. They come from an animal like this here, a land animal called Pakicetos. And we're related to them, we're related to all beings. We have a common ancestor with them. Common ancestor of the Pakicetos and humans is a tree climbing rat type of animal. Or before they became arboreal, before they started to climb into trees, they were rat type of animals, like part dinosaur still. And then they split off, as they did so many times. They split off into many different branches. One branch branched into tree climbing, that's what's on the human lineage, and the other one branched off into like growing a larger tail even, and growing into a fish catcher animal. A little bit like an otter, but not an otter, but in this direction. And they were just the size of the baby dog, the original, the land whales. And then from that entire evolution started. They became more and more and more waterbound. The nostrils that used to be in the front, they moved up so that they could look and see underwater while they still breathe. And then it moved all the way up, so then they were better equipped for swimming and catching fish. Okay, then they catch fish, the nostrils wouldn't be blocked, and eventually the nostrils went all the way to the top of the head, and then all the way to here, like, where they would breathe water out and like a fountain, and then breathe air back in, and then they would dive back underwater and stay there for hours. For hours on one oxygen charge. That is really something. But eventually they have to come back up, and they have to breathe out and breathe in again. That's what they have to do. That is the most amazing evolution there's here on this planet. The most amazing. The most dramatic and amazing. And so they have 1 million years, at least 1 million years, more of an evolutionary development than we have, coming from the same ancestor. So the same great-grandmother, if you want to call them, which was like a dinosaur type of rat, or the first rat type of animal. The first rat type of animal that gave birth, actually, with the placenta on it. The placenta is really the rudiment of an eggshell, but it has become very, very soft. So it's no longer an egg that's being laid. So that is a very vulnerable baby, more vulnerable than an egg. Yes, people, they shouldn't put themselves onto some kind of mysterious pedestal. We're coming from those beings, okay? And it was very, very, very rudimentary in the beginning. Trust me. It was very messy and rudimentary, and people always want to think of themselves as being clean animals, but they're not very clean. When they smoke cigarettes, they're not clean. All animals like to be clean. Horses, they don't want to stand in their own manure. They don't want to be confined to a confinement, to a certain, like 1 acre or something. It's not enough for a horse, where they end up grazing everything off and standing in their own dung. No, that's unethical. All animals want to be free and want to be in nature, pristine nature. Okay. Horses, they can't clean up after themselves. The only way they have is they poop and then they walk on, and then the poop becomes a fertilizer for the plants. But that can't happen when they're on 1 acre of land. So one horse, like a large draft horse like this, for example, one horse would, in my personal view, one horse needs at least 10 acres, or maybe 2 horses, right? They need at least 10 acres. At least. That's a minimum. I told that to my realtor. He looked at me funny, like, because he's like, "Whoa, are you going to?" He didn't say it, but he was thinking, because I'm psychic, I can read people's minds. He was thinking, "So are you gonna accuse all of these other people with their 1 acre or less that they're wrong?" Yeah, I am. I am. They're doing it wrong. Okay, we have to have at least 10 acres for 1 or 2 horses. And if you have 3 horses, they need even more land. And they should ideally have hundreds of acres. And better even thousands of acres, where they can roam around together. That's what they do in nature. They form groups, and these always together. Always together. They're never solitary. Okay. When I see a lonely horse, it makes me cry. Yes, that makes me cry too. Also cry tears and tears and tears. Oh, yeah, so sad is that. Oh God, I hang my head down when I'm lonely, just like that. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. I cry forever. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay, so don't do that to anyone. Yes, don't ever do that to any living being. Dogs, they need to be together. Yes, in chicken. Yeah, dogs need to be together with other. Always need to be together with the other beings, with other dogs, horses, humans. Always, 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 always. Yes, they need to be together in order to feel good. Okay, so now I completed the horse. Fantastic. So I started another project that is starting up in in the hallway on the table that I'm gonna take care of that later. I'm gonna be duct taping, masking taping the box together. I always do that. I use masking tape or duct tape, and I seal all the cracks and all the openings. Like, when you have a cardboard box, you always have like these gaps where it opens up. I seal all of that with the tape, and I make one artistic block out of it. And this one also had, I saw that the other day, I saw it was like big chaos here on the floor, like a bomb has exploded in here. So I saw Paul's packaging material partly scattered under the table, and I saw that he had there were these bits and pieces of styrofoam and some kind of foam material that was taped in one box that was supposed to hold something in place. And immediately I see stuff in it. I see like, oh, this is gonna make eyes, or this is gonna make a face, or this is gonna make an animal. So I said to Paul, I'm going to make another project. I'm gonna take that cardboard box, and I'm gonna take these foam pieces, and I'm gonna masking tape them on top of that cardboard box, and then I'll take it in the garage and I will paint it with acrylic paint and with different colors. And I told Paul I'm gonna call it the Therapy Help Center. And he said, no, you cannot call it Therapy Help Center. And I said, I can't even call it Therapy Help Center. No, I don't even want you calling it Therapy Help Center. It scares me, he said. Just the thought that you will call something Therapy Help Center, then you're going to get it into your head that you want to create Therapy Help Centers, and then he keeps on ranting against creating a therapy help. I'm not even allowed to make an artwork with that name, so because it causes him nightmares. So I said, okay, I'll understand. Because his mother had a music store, and she was constantly sued and constantly abused and all of that, and it was a nightmare. So he has a trauma with that. So I said, okay, because he kept always thinking and telling me that if you create a therapy help center, you're going to get sued. You're going to have homeless people come. They're going to demolish everything, and it's going to be a big mess. You're going to get killed, right? So nothing but problems. And you don't have security guards. You don't have doctors on board and nurses. And as long as I don't have that, there's no way I can create a therapy help center. Even an open center, it would be very risky business. Even to create a church of some sort, even that is risky business. You can even get sued with that. If you said something wrong to someone, you get sued for everything you own. I mean, look at what's happening to Donald Trump, what happened to Rudy Giuliani. One wrong word said by someone who has something going on, they will be sued for everything they have. So it's sad that we have, and that's why democracy doesn't work. Okay, that's a telltale sign that democracy doesn't work when we have wokeism going on like this. Wokeism is a sociological insanity. Okay, it's broken. It's a broken system that is unfair, that is racist, that's unjust, and it creates war. It creates internal war and external war. That's what it does. And it creates the complete collapse of a civilization if it continues like this. And that's why I'm praying to the blue god to send us ETs like this here on a spaceship. Yes, that is what we need. And they need to create order here. They need to intercept. We need help. So I said to Paul, okay, I accept that I can't call it Therapy Help Center. So I'm going to call it, I thought about this earlier today. We're going to make this only for animals. And I'm going to make another horse and cow and pig and dog for that box that I'm going to tape up today. I'm gonna just set them on top of it loosely, like I have there over there with my ET spaceship 1, that's the first one there, and the park next to it, but they belong together. So I'm gonna have it like that, and I'm gonna call it the Energy Healing Therapy Center for Animals. That's how I'm going to call it. I hope that he's okay with that terminology. So, now we're wrapping this up. Take care. Kisses. Forever for all living beings. Infinite love.